There we go.
All righty. Well, let me see what I can do about getting this up and getting going. Hey, all. Welcome back to the Awesome Life Podcast. I'm Karen Stultz, your host. And today I have another awesome guest. I mean, honestly, they are amazing. But basically, I met Elizabeth, and she had a technique that I had never heard of. And I really thought it would be beneficial for all of you out there who are in transition, who are wondering, why am I stumbling along? Why am I not getting to where I want to go? And although the heart energy techniques and the Awesome Life Success Program can help you with that, we're all different. We're all unique. And what works for one may not work for another, which is why I have made it my mission to find all of the really cool, wonderful things that are available out there. And I have a long way to go before I find them all, but I keep learning. And when I find something that might be helpful to you so that you can overcome any of those transitional issues, whatever they may be, you'll be able to do that with ease because you got the tools now. Or if not the tools, you have the resources. And that's what my guests are here to do, is to help us with these resources and make it a whole lot easier. So I am going to read a little bit about Elizabeth. Elizabeth Kipp is her name, and you can reach her everywhere, Elizabeth-Kipp. But Elizabeth Kipp is a stress management and historical trauma specialist who uses trauma-trained and yoga-informed addiction recovery coaching, ancestral clearing, and compassionate inquiry, along with the yoga to help people with their healing. She is also the best-selling author of The Way Through Chronic Pain, Tools to Reclaim Your Healing Power. And isn't that what we want to do? Reclaim our power. So Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing all of your yummy details here. This is so cool.
Thank you so much, Karen. It's my pleasure to be here with you and to be able to share with your listeners. And I'm excited to share you with my audience.
Yay! Yay! That would be wonderful. Yes, absolutely. And you know, the thing that really struck me, I've heard a lot of the ancestral clearing. I do a lot of that with my heart energy techniques, but you had something a little bit different. And we were talking about how the traumas can affect us. And many of us have had some major traumas. But the fact is that, and would you agree, I should ask you, everybody, every single person on this earth has had traumas that we need to correct, to break through, to make friends with.
Well, yes, but I would say I haven't done a sample of everybody on the planet, but it's likely that most of us have. Let's just get a handle for the listening audience on what trauma is.
Okay.
Trauma isn't what happens to us. It's not what happens to you. It's what happens inside of you because of what happened to you. That's a beautiful definition that Dr. Gabor Mate brings in to his compassion inquiry viewpoint, which I happen to agree on. And what does that mean? What happens inside of you because of what happened to you? We get disconnected from ourselves. We dissociate. That there's a lot of people be familiar when I get something scary or activating happens to me. I kind of dissociate, or I feel isolated. I don't know what to do with myself. I'm really kind of disconnecting from myself. I'm certainly disconnected from others because I can't share that experience with them. And depending on what's happening in my mind, I can feel also disconnected from source. So it's a dis-ease of disconnection.
Ooh, ooh, wow. That's a great definition, a dis-ease of disconnection. So tell me, how did you get into this trauma clearing and ancestral clearing in and of itself? That really intrigues me.
Well, I'll try and give you a thumbnail of that. Um, I was raised in a family where my mom had undiagnosed and untreated mental illness, and my brother and I withstood the headwinds of that. And so we had to find a way to find safety in a place that felt very unsafe.
Mm.
And so as children do, we repressed a lot of we weren't allowed to express ourselves anyway. So children are meant to be seen, not heard. That's the way I was raised, right? So we held all that stuff inside. Well, what is depression? Deep pressure, right? Repression. We're suppressing our feelings, our emotions. I don't even know what. It's a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy to hold that stuff in, and over time, that becomes a chronic pain problem. A chronic pain is any pain that's felt 15 days after 30 for 3 months or more. Any pain, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, even financial, anything that doesn't feel good for 15 days out of 30 for 3 months or more is chronic. The brain can't tell the difference between a broken bone and a broken heart. It all sends the same signal to the brain. So
Interesting.
why is that important? That's important because in chronic pain, the brain is changed fundamentally. We get a lot of chaos and brain fog, and we get a marked negative view perspective. And so, in a chronic pain experience, to take it back to trauma, there was an original trauma which wasn't acknowledged at the time.
Okay.
Right? So it went unresolved. And so my brother and I both, we're both in recovery from this stuff. We got disconnected from ourselves, we felt disconnected from our parents, certainly from our mother, and to an extent from our father as well, and from the world, because we couldn't share any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So we were all alone with it, and that's unresolved trauma, which created a chronic pain issue. And then I had a physical accident when I was 14, and I had broke a bone in the base of my spine, which went undiagnosed for 14 years in terms of we didn't x-ray it or anything, really become a serious problem until 14 years later. And then I had to have surgery, and it was very painful. And the doctor's answer for the pain, not understanding the nature of chronic pain because they weren't trained in it, just gave me opiates and anti-anxiety medicine. That was their answer. And they assumed I wouldn't heal. They just, this is what we have for you, get used to it, kind of thing. I had a science background, and I was, because of my training and kind of my orientation, I bowed to the doctors and said, well, they must know what they're doing. And then when they said, oh, well, you'll never get better, then I was like, hold up, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm not going to be the victim here. I can do
that-
whatever I want. Get out of
that-
my face and let me do it.
That doesn't make sense, given what you're telling me how it's going to be. And you're operating in a scientific framework. That's not even honest. You've forgotten your science. Science is about probabilities, not facts. It's probable that. Well, they didn't say that. They said you will. So they were being untruthful there. They'd forgotten their science. The other thing they forgot was scientific paradigm shift. So if you're operating in the model, what it said to me was, it told me more about the limitation of the model they were working in than it told me about the body's ability to heal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I had that understanding because I had this science. I had been trained as a science researcher, and I knew how to ask the questions. Right? So I had that benefit, and I like coming on to a podcast and spreading this message in case somebody else has heard. Oh, you can't get better. Understand the lens that the person is looking through that's telling you that. And I'm not saying that all doctors are wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that doctors, just like every other healer, is operating in a set perspective, and I have to know what are they coming to the table with, and what are their limitations.
And that's, that, as you say, it's not all doctors are like this by any means. And many doctors who even might say, this is it, this is your life, they are following the rules of the medical associations, of the hospitals, of whatever, so that they don't get sued. Understandably, they have to protect themselves. They're paying huge insurances, malpractice insurance, and they could lose their license if they started looking at alternatives that did not include pharmaceuticals or surgery. So,
or the scientific studies that back that within their field, right?
right,
They're limited. But we just have
right.
to understand the model that they're working in, and understand that it's a model. Models change, and things have limitations.
Exactly. I know I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, my doctor years ago, he's now retired, gave me a drug to help with my diabetes. And it helped with my diabetes, and it was the only thing that really has. And everything else that you've given me for my diabetes has, the side effects were really, really bad, but this one didn't, and it actually brought down my sugar levels, and it was all good. And the problem is that nobody will prescribe this drug because it's for depression.
Oh, off-label use. Yeah, I'm familiar with
Yeah.
that. Not that
Yeah.
drug, but I'm familiar with the concept of off-label use, and you're not getting covered. Yeah,
And you're not, yeah. I mean, if the doctor prescribed that for an off-label use, they could get into deep, deep trouble. So they will not even consider it, which is making it very difficult with the diabetes. So anyway, yeah, all we have to do. So one of the things that really does come through with our traumas that we are experiencing now, some of it we can lay a finger on. Your mom, or your accident at age 14 that wasn't diagnosed. We can understand that. But there are many traumas that we are living with that are not actually ours. Would you agree?
Sure. Yeah, and I'll give you an example. Rachel Yehuda has done just astonishing work with Holocaust survivors, descendants of Holocaust survivors, and found that the descendants of Holocaust survivors have different cortisol levels. They don't handle stress as well. So that's an epigenetic change versus a genetic change. So in the gene, there's kind of like imagine the computer. The hardware of the computer is the gene, and the software, the programming, is the epigenetics. And the programming can change depending on the environment. So anyway, she's done some classic studies, and there are other people that have done studies too. We can Science can measure at this point 14 generations from looking from how they can measure. From a quantum point of view, 14 generations, 7 generations front and back. From a quantum physics point of view, because you can measure, from the present moment, you have access to the past, present, and future all at once. From the quantum perspective, we can clear all of it. So we can from the from the point of view of like science and what is discovered, they say, oh, you can, you can work with 7 generations front and back. From in ancestral clearing, we say from the quantum point of view, we clear it all. We clear the whole lineage.
So you're talking forward generations as well as past generations.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the premise. Now that I can't say that there have been scientific studies done on this modality yet, but the concept is there, and quantum physics shows us that. That's why I can even bring it in. It makes sense to me. I know for years as a kid, I remember asking my father when I was like 4. I'm like, okay, Dad, I see that there's like this world, and then like the physical world, and then there's this. I didn't know the word spiritual then. There's this like religious world, and I didn't see. I saw that they didn't match. They didn't align. They weren't like, there was something that wasn't fitting. And I said, where do these two meet? And he looked at me and he said, you asked too many questions.
Hey, if
so
I can't answer the question, then you ask too many of them.
And I'm like, Dad, what kind of answer is that? And people didn't want to answer that question, but I had the question. I kept the question, kept burning inside of me until I don't know, maybe 25, 30 years ago, when I turned on TV and saw my first presentation on quantum physics.
Ooh, yes.
And
yes.
I'm like, aha, that's where they meet in the quantum field. That's where they're meeting. And so I love that. Not that I understand all that stuff. I'm not good enough mathematician to keep up with all that stuff.
Well, you know what? I look at it as, if it makes sense for you and the people that you're working with, that's all that really matters, right? We don't have to know all of the ins and outs. We don't have to have the super cognitive PhDs and everything else. If it makes sense for you and the people that you're working with, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Well, we say that the experience, and anyway, so I went in. I was on this medicine for 32 years, and I got to a point where I was kind of amazed I was even alive. The last 15 was on fentanyl, and not
oh my gosh,
not one little bit, but like a lot.
Oh,
and
wow.
Anyway, I went into a pain management program, and this doctor helped. He knew how to detox me off this stuff, and he understood the nature of chronic pain, and he understood that opiates and benzodiazepines weren't going to heal the changes that were made in the brain because of the chronic pain. He brought in modalities to help heal those changes. One of the things that he brought in was ancestral clearing. He had a practitioner come in, a wellness professional come in. His name was John Newton. He has a website, healthbeyondbelief.com, and he teaches this practice. It's a trademark registered modality that John put together, and I experienced it in this treatment program, and I was astonished. I mean, I'm sitting there, detoxing in a room with 20 other people that I didn't know, who were also, coming off of their medication, and I'm just trying to figure out what's happening in the room, right? So I had my science hat on, and I had an experience with this ancestral clearing, and I'll give you all experience of it in a bit.
Oh, yay!
And I felt a difference, and I was surprised. I wasn't expecting it. And everyone else in the room had an experience as well, where our pain levels went down. And so with my science hat on, I was like, okay, I know something just happened. What was it? Can we measure it? Is it repeatable? And does he teach it?
Yeah, the smart analysis.
That was boom. That went in right away. And the answer to those things was it was yes. Other than we haven't gone out and had a big scientific study, but you can feel the changes. It's very interesting. Now, we don't say in ancestral clearing, we don't say we heal. We don't do that. We do the work and we stay away. We don't make claims. We just see what the clients experience. So
Well,
we're very
isn't that the
careful.
way it is, or should be? It isn't a case of healing. I call myself healing, but a healer, and you are a healer as well. Howsoever, it's up to the individual. We don't actually do the work. I had someone who had traumatic brain injury come to me, and we did some work, and he said, "Oh my gosh, you saved my life, Karen. You absolutely saved my life. This is amazing, and you healed me." And I said, "No, no, actually, you did the work.
That's right.
You did the work. I facilitate. I will help you facilitate it." And
Yeah,
that's,
we're guides. But
yeah,
remember, for the listening audience, right? The greatest healer in your life lives inside of us. So doctors can set a bone and stitch up a wound, but they can't tell the body how to heal. Well, how does the body heal? It's got this intelligence, right?
yeah.
So your greatest healer is within you. That's this, whatever this life force is that comes from, consciousness whatever created all of this that we're in, that's in us. So as people that hold the space that we hold, we're really guides, and we're kind of almost like we're kind of helping focus the energy between the all it is into the person and guiding the person to open to their own healing. Right.
And that's key too. The A in awesome stands for awareness and allowing. And you could have gone in there and said, all right, scientific hat is on. Let me look at this analytically. Let me see. And I'm not going to allow it to happen because I want to see it happening before I actually allow it to happen, because I don't need that. I want to know the science. And nothing would have happened.
Nothing would have happened.
But by the fact that you were aware that change could happen, and you were open to the possibility of that awareness and that allowing, miracles happened, it sounds like.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's quite astonishing. So so just to kind of get back to the trauma piece, we come into this life with many of us, and I would say most of us, with any effects of unresolved trauma from our ancestors. We have that information in the system. Just like we have their gifts, we have their burdens. And so it's like it kind of, if we came in, if imagine that we all came in wearing glasses, and because of the burden that we come in with, this unresolved stuff, our glasses they're colored, they're clouded. And with the work that you do and that I do, the different modalities that we bring in, we clear the glasses so that we can actually see, what's our mission on the planet. what, what, what did I come here to do in the first place? And so for people that are in a transition and like, I don't even know what to do yet, let's do the work to clear the lenses so that you can actually see clearly, find yourself to some grounding, and take a breath and step into your power and take that next step.
Exactly. I love that. I love that. So you mentioned that there might be a possibility. Can you do some sample of your ancestral clearing for us?
Absolutely. It'll take a few minutes
Okay.
to go through this. There are 5 techniques in ancestral clearing, and I'm going to share one of them with you, which is really easy to do on a podcast. And I just like everyone that's listening to this to just notice what you're feeling as sensation in the body.
Okay.
Breathe normally, and just let these words pass over you. And what we'll do in this practice is we're addressing the creator of all creation. So in this case, we'll call it infinite creator. You could call it God, universe, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it infinite creator so we're all aware of what I'm saying. And what we're going to do is we're going to be naming some of the burden. We're going to be naming the burden and offering it up, that which is no longer necessary. We're offering it up to help, ask Creator to help us release it. We're asking Creator to help us release that which no longer serves us.
So
And we
we
use
need to focus on something that is a bit of a burden and we're offering it up
no,
to, no?
yeah, you don't have to focus on anything. I'll do that part.
Oh, cool.
All you have
All right. I like this.
all you
Make
have
it
to do,
easy.
yeah, it's so simple. All I want you to do is notice sensation in the body, breathe normally, and let these words pass over you. I'm just explaining what I'm doing. All right, here we go. Infinite Creator, all that you are, source of all that is, was, and ever will be. We ask humbly and gratefully that you help everyone listening to this in all of their relationships, in all their ancestors and all their relationships through all space, time, dimension, realms, lifetimes, and incarnations. For all the times they felt let down by life, by family members, by relationships, by anyone representing the Creator. For any time they felt let down by the Creator in any name or form. For any time they turned their back on the Creator or felt the Creator turn their back on them. Please help everyone involved to forgive each other and forgive themselves. Find peace with one another and find peace with themselves, please and thank you. For all the times you weren't supported, loved, nurtured, and cherished the way you needed. Please help all of you to forgive each other and forgive yourselves. For the times you didn't support, nurture, and love others the way they needed. For any time you were out of integrity or anyone out of integrity with you. Please help you all to forgive and release each other, forgive and release yourselves for the highest good. Please and thank you. For all war, battle, holocaust, persecution, genocide, slavery, injustice of any kind. Any oppression, misuse of power, position, politically, judicially, medically, spiritually, or in any other way. For any slander or libel or any other misuse of the power of the word. Please help everyone involved directly or indirectly to forgive and release one another, forgive and release yourselves. Find peace with one another and find peace with yourselves. Please and thank you. For all hurts and wrongs, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual, financial, through thought, word, or action. For all that happened and all you made it mean. Please help you all forgive and release one another, forgive and release yourselves. Find peace with one another and find peace with yourselves. Please and thank you. For all suicide, incest, murder, rape, abortion, infidelity, infertility, miscarriage, all of it. Everyone involved in any way. Please help all of you to forgive one another and forgive yourselves. Please and thank you. For anyone who was stubborn, judgmental, or bullying, for the times you didn't follow the inner knowing of your heart, for this and all regret, please help all of you to forgive one another and forgive yourselves for the highest good. Please and thank you. For all hurts and wrongs to the earth, the life of the earth, Native, Indigenous, Aboriginal, First Nation people. Please help all of you to forgive one another and forgive yourselves for all that happened, no matter what it was. Please and thank you. For any time you withheld love, for any time you manipulated another or violated their free will, for any time anyone did this to you, for any time anyone was trapped physically, emotionally, mentally, sexually, financially, spiritually, or in any other way. For any time anyone felt forsaken and forgotten, locked up and forgotten, condemned and forgotten, and all the associated inverse birth, please help everyone to forgive each other and forgive yourselves. Please and thank you. For all betrayal, stealing, gaslighting, backbiting, jealousy, secrecy, and lying. For any time words were left unspoken, to keep the peace in the moment, and any resulting resentment. Please help everyone involved to forgive each other and forgive yourselves. Please thank you. For any time you believed, felt, or were shown you weren't enough. For the times you tried to earn or learn your way into the value of your family, your relationships, or into the grace and love of the Creator. For all that led up to this and all that arose from it, please help you all to forgive and release one another, forgive and release yourselves for the highest good. Please and thank you. For all empathic hurts and wrongs, times you took on others' unresolved issues, shouldered their burdens, for all adversity, struggle, and hardship you took on, especially as children, for all dark night of the soul experiences, please help all of you to forgive each other and forgive yourselves, all family members, all relationships, for the times this was done to you and any time you did this to others. Please and thank you, Infinite Creator, all that you are. Please and thank you. For the times you weren't shown or encouraged to stand up, speak up, and do things your way. For the times you didn't feel safe to say no when appropriate. Please help all of you to forgive your parents, grandparents, family members, and relationships, and help them all forgive you. Help you all forgive yourselves, please and thank you. For the times you were attacked, blamed, judged, and misunderstood. For the times you did this to others. For any manipulation, deceit, or rejection. Please help all of you to forgive each other and forgive yourselves. Find peace with one another and find peace with yourselves, please and thank you. For all hurts and wrongs, anything we left out, if it serves the highest good, we include it now. For all that happened and all you made it mean, everything that led up to and arose from hurts, wrongs, limitation, or burden of any kind that's not serving the highest good. We ask all of you, everyone involved, directly or indirectly, to forgive your parents, grandparents, children, siblings, grandchildren. Help them all forgive you and help you all forgive yourselves, please and thank you. Your whole family and lineage. Help you forgive your cousins, aunts, uncles, step-in-laws, hidden, secret, foster, adopted, and all other significant people, beings, family members, relationships, role models, authority figures. Help them all forgive you and help you all forgive yourselves, please and thank you. Infinite Creator, all that you are, for the highest good. Please help all of you to release all weight, pain, burden, sin, death, debt, negativity, limitation, all superstition, energy, spells, hexes, curses, white magic, black magic, real or imagined. Please and thank you. Please direct everyone to your perfect love and light for the highest good only and always. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. And just take a breath in and let it out and notice how that feels in the body.
Wow. Elizabeth, that was amazing. That was amazing. Yeah, a lightness can shine. A lightness is coming up and a release.
Yeah.
You notice as you were continuing, I closed my eyes and I could just really feel it with blocking everything out with the eyes closed. So, if you didn't feel anything this time around, everybody, re-listen to the podcast because it's powerful.
Yeah.
And this is just one of 5, you said.
It's one of 5 techniques that we use. In a session, private session, we are able to drill down into. I mean, we covered a lot of bases, like that's pretty much all the bases. But we can, if somebody's having a specific, like I had a thing with my mother, right? Then in a private session, we can kind of drill down and kind of see where that's hiding in the body, and we can see what the root of that is, because it's probably not about mom. It's probably about, something in the lineage that happened that she carried in, from whoever. So we do that work. Also, another one of the techniques is an interesting kind of powerful version of EFT tapping, which I use for it's great for lots of things, but I typically, because of my addiction recovery coach work, I use it for people, and stress management work. I use it for people that are having like panic attacks and who are having craving issues. If people are super activated, we just drop into tapping. You know about tapping. I think you're an EFT tapping practitioner too.
Yeah,
so
it's a major part of the heart energy techniques is tapping. Yes.
Yeah. So it's
powerful.
This is like a little bit different version of regular tapping, but that's one of the techniques, and we've got a couple others that we use depending on what the client needs. So it's a very handy. It's very versatile.
That's
actually
wonderful.
I've been in this work for 9 years now, and I haven't had a client come to me yet that this work hasn't been able to address. Now, I'm not saying that won't happen. I'm just saying it hasn't happened yet. So
the scientist is coming through here. We're not saying these are probabilities, but not facts necessarily. But so far, so good, right? I love that. Yeah, the possibility is always there. You get a bad client. I shouldn't say a bad client, a client who really is finding their a benefit in staying in this pain, in this anxiety, and there are some that do that.
Okay, yeah, there's that. I've had like less than a handful of clients over the years where the work didn't seem like it was as powerful, but it always delivered. They always felt some relief. I'm saying I haven't had a client that there wasn't any result at all.
I see. I see
Yeah,
what you're
I
saying.
haven't actually
Right.
had that. I've had
Okay.
some, one of the things that, remember when I gave the instruction, I said, stay present to what you're feeling and the breath. Now, if someone who has unresolved trauma in the system and their strategy of finding safety in the world is to dissociate, they can't stay in the present. So
Mhm.
this work is they're they'll be able to access this work, but they won't get as big of a they won't notice it as much as somebody like you who doesn't have that problem. Or
Right. It is,
I didn't have that
they
problem.
don't get the transformation quite as quickly, but I
And with
expect with a little bit of practice, a little bit of time with you,
system.
that does, they can get major. So some of the benefits of having this ancestral clearing, having the trauma clearing, um, how do people's lives change when they have these clearings? I mean, I can come up with a slew of things, but
Sure. Yeah.
you've experienced it.
Well, one of the things is they find their voice. That's an issue for women. And I'm not just saying it's just women, but it's a big issue for women. It's men have the issue too, but women tend to have it more. So find your voice. So one, find your voice. Two, be able to actually stand in your power and speak. Right. That's the second one. There's two more. Right. So also, I do a lot of work around uh, abundance and kind of scarcity energy that can be in the. So people notice that like we don't make claims. I'm just saying people notice that things around abundance in their life change. People become more grateful. They have more access to joy. I mean, it's a long list. They're able to release weight they haven't been able to release over time. There's all kinds of, again, we don't make claims per se. I'm just kind of reporting what we see.
Right, right. Well, it's powerful, powerful stuff, Elizabeth. I love it. So how can people get in touch with you? And where can they get your book?
Oh, you can get my book on Amazon or through my website. I'll grab it real quick. Um, the Way Through Chronic Pain Tools to Reclaim Your Healing Power is you can get an autographed copy from me from my website or on Amazon if you want, without the autograph. And you can find me at elizabeth-kipp.com. You got to put the hyphen in between Elizabeth and Kipp, because elizabethkipp.com is a web designer and a photographer, and she's amazing, but she's not me. Elizabeth-kipp.com. That's me. My social media is all up in there. There's lots of free resources. I've got a pretty healthy blog space and lots of ancestral clearing prayers there for you for free. That if you want to access them. Um, anyway, uh, you know, connect with me. I'm all over social media. Connect with me if you're interested.
Oh, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. So be sure to direct message her on social media, and it's all Elizabeth-Kipp, even in your social media. Is that correct?
Oh no, on social media it's just Elizabeth Kipp. Yes, just
Oh, is
my
it? Oh, okay.
website. You have to put the dash in there.
Oh, okay. Very good. All
And I
righty.
offer a free 15-minute consultation, and I also offer either 25 or 50-minute sessions. So it's, and we break it down. I have packages and stuff like that. So there's all, and I also do not just ancestral healing, but I also do addiction recovery coaching and stress management.
Fantastic.
If you've got problems managing your stress, I'm your girl. I can help.
And one last thing, how has your life changed since you've been doing this work?
Well, I found my voice. And I, I can stand in my power. I actually feel like um, I've discovered, I mean, my purpose, I'm a mother. So, you kind of can't get a bigger purpose than that in life. I'm just saying, like, that's the purpose, right? people say to me, "Oh, I don't have a purpose." Well, you're a mom and you're a devoted daughter and you're a devoted, sister, and yes, you have purpose. But this work has been very exciting for me, very rewarding, because I remember, I was in hospital, but I was in bed for 6 years in the 80s, so and like literally bedridden at doctor's orders. So I spent a lot of time in hospital beds and stuff, and I remember lying in the hospital one time, and as the nurse is walking out the door, a just beautiful woman, I said to myself, when, not if, when I get out of here, I hope I can give back an iota of what all these people have given to me that supported me through all those years.
And you certainly have. You certainly have. This is so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. And as I mentioned in the first place, I had never heard of ancestral clearing, and this is a very powerful, very gentle thing. After all, she did the work. How cool is that? All you had to do is be there.
The
So
creator
if
did the
you,
work. I'm just placeholder.
I love that too. I love that too. It does just allow the creator to work their magic, because we are here to lead an awesome life. That's all there is to it. That is our purpose, to be happy and prosperous and lead a free and awesome life. So my amazing guests are here to help you achieve that in whatever way resonates with you. But golly, with a free 15-minute program with Elizabeth, consultation, that take advantage of it. I will have all of her details and where you can reach her online, and in well, it would be what, your Facebook page, your LinkedIn, your website.
Instagram. Yep.
Mhm.
Website. Yep.
Instagram.
Mhm.
So those will all be in the show notes. And until next time, everyone, please leave a comment, subscribe, let us know what you would like to have, what more type of guests you might like to have, and who you would like to have back, because I always love to have returning guests on the show. So until next time, be awesome. Okay.
It's like oh, there you go. It looks like you're still recording.